Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you. This time I'm talking episode 10 of season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow, The Legion of Doom. Um, now, this is probably my favorite episode of the season so far. I knew I was going to like it just from the way it started off with the opening narration being done by Damien Dark, kind of just giving the whole thing from his and the Legion's perspective. I love little twists like that. And well, let's get stuff with the heroes out of the way first. The main thing with them this episode is figuring out that it's Eobard Thawne that's the speedster they're dealing with, and the whole subplot with Lily finding out that she's a time aberration. And I was kind of thinking that this is something that would be a little bit more of a big deal, something that would be a little bit more stretched out, but in retrospect, I'm kind of glad that this was sort of done in one sort of thing. Of course, this whole thing comes about because Mick just can't resist being a dick. And while Lily's angst at finding out the truth that she's in a time aberration is understandable, the way she puts it doesn't really quite make sense if you really think about it. She says that her parents didn't want her. It's like, well, no, it's just that in the original timeline, your parents chose not to have children. It's not a rejection of you specifically. Now, granted, this is not really going to jive well with the emotions a person would be feeling in that sort of situation. So Lily's reaction is understandable, but if you do think about it, it is inaccurate to say that her parents didn't want her. And, Martin is very quick to assert, it's like, look, you're my daughter, I love you. That's all that's really important. But anyway, getting back to the stuff with the Legion, this was great stuff, especially just like watching just Malcolm and Damien just rip into each other constantly. With the Legion, when we were seeing Damien and Eobard, we kind of got the impression that these two guys might actually be friends. But here it's made very clear that's not the case. These guys can barely tolerate each other. And, Malcolm and Damien are right that Thawne is treating them like henchmen. Granted, last episode they were actually acting like henchmen, but still. And we get to see, everybody's flaws on full parade. Everybody has an enormous ego. Malcolm, of course, makes the enormous mistake of mouthing off to Eobard. It's like, well, what are you going to do? Kill me? Well, yeah, dude. You you have seen what speedsters can do to guys from the League of Assassins. Barry, when he came to Nanda Parbat, absolutely tore through the League. I mean, you being Ra's al Ghul, well, that's all well and good, but you can't move at several hundred miles an hour in the blink of an eye. So, yeah. If Eobard wants to kill you, or Damien, then it's no big deal for him. Excuse me. And let's see what else. And this also leads up to that moment where, again, even in the light of what I said just a minute ago, Malcolm and Damien are like, yeah, one speedster versus two former members of the League of Assassins? Yeah, I like those odds. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense at all. And yet, gosh, wish I had some cough drops. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. Yet, by the end of the episode, they've actually managed to force Eobard's hand to the point where he has to treat them as equals. Eobard does make the classic villain's mistake of assuming that just because he's smart doesn't mean that everyone else around him is stupid. All right? Malcolm and Damien are both very, very smart guys in their own right. Time travel is Eobard's wheelhouse, but these are guys who have way more experience than he does when it comes to just flat out treachery. I also liked how they did. We kind of get a little extra backstory on Damien, where like Malcolm even says that the reason he broke from the League of Assassins was that he was passed over for the role of Raish. I don't think it's something that's been mentioned before, which I thought was pretty cool. But anyway, I also really liked the way that Malcolm and Damien are bickering, and Rip, starts trying to play them off of each other. And Damien even points out, like, come on, you can see what he's trying to do, right? You really think that we're going to let this guy get away with playing divide and conquer with us? And yet shortly thereafter, he and Malcolm are having this big sword duel. And that just kind of points out that, yeah, even if he is stuck as sort of a drugged out loser from the 60s, Rip still has more than a little bit of cunning up his sleeve. It's just something that comes natural to him, apparently, and even taking away his memories like that isn't going to get rid of it. Remember how he killed the Pilgrim in the previous season? Now, the whole bank thing in Switzerland in the future, that was funny, but it was also kind of ridiculous. Like, seriously, somebody as smart as Damien Darhk is not going to think of there being a password, but he's going to apparently be aware of like the importance of a retinal scanner. Now, again, Damien is from the 80s, but he seems to be at least have picked up enough about future technology to have some basics. And honestly, even back then, I'm pretty sure computers that had really sensitive information did have passwords. I like how Malcolm comes up with a far more simple solution of just going and torturing the override code out of the bank manager. It's like, well, again, why didn't you just sort of do that in the first place? And again, apparently 2 former members of the League of Assassins, including one who was Raish, can't figure out how to steal something from a bank vault. I don't know, maybe I'm giving the League too much credit here, but still. Really, you guys can't come up with something as simple as get the thing out of the Swiss bank without, it turning into a bloodbath. And no wonder these guys did not make it or last long as Raish. Let's see. Oh, and of course, there's the whole thing, and we find out, like, well, what's up with Eobard? Why does he never seem to stay in one place? And that's because he's running away from the Black Flash. And, it's some serious stuff when somebody like Reverse Flash is terrified of another person. And I do really like the way they did the makeup with Black Flash here. I mean, he looks terrified. And the only real problem, though, is that when Malcolm and Damien trap him in the vault, there are some pretty obvious ways a guy like Eobard can get out, such as, like, phasing through the wall. Which I assume he didn't, probably because, well, if running will attract the Black Flash, then maybe doing something more quote-unquote advanced will attract him even faster. And, he knows that Black Flash is in the vicinity, so he probably has possibly very justifiable fears, like, well, sure, if I phase through the wall, I'll be out of here. But in all likelihood, the Black Flash will be standing right there waiting for him. Now, again, why he doesn't use just like the computer keypad to run through every possible combination to open the door, well, again, that's probably going to take time he might not have. So, although I'm curious as to sort of like why he's like, well, now we're all dead. Well, why is the Black Flash going to kill Malcolm and Damien? They're not speedsters. I mean, granted, they're time travelers, but Black Flash's thing is killing speedsters, time wraiths. They're the ones who are killing, whose thing is killing people who screw with history. Which is sort of weird that they haven't shown up to sort of, tear you guys' heads off. Yeah, apart, but okay, I'm assuming that, but, it's been said that Eobard knows how to get around time wraiths. So, okay, whatever. Let's see, what else? Oh, and of course, we can't leave this episode off without them, despite all their bickering, the bad guys succeed. They get the gadget they want. They're able to restore Rip's memories and brainwash him to fight for the Legion. And Malcolm and Damian get what they want too, that they force Eobard to treat them as equal partners in the Legion. So the Legion, despite all their stumbles and such, just became even more dangerous than they already were. So, and of course, we leave off with Rip Hunter apparently gunning down George Washington. Yeah, that's quite the cliffhanger. So, yeah, guys, this was a really good episode. I enjoyed it a lot. As I said, this is probably my favorite episode of the season so far. So, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Okay, guys, with that, I'm going to call it here. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Who'sYourJedi. And please join me on Tumblr at Jedi Reviewer. Until next time, take care and have a good one.